Welcome to the Coffee Club, broadcasting live from New York with your host, Felix, and co-host, Dr. Marc. So let's have a cup of coffee and enjoy the show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our show. A special tribute to the veterans who are not with us any longer from past wars. I am here with my co-host, Marc.
How you doing?
And welcome all. If you want to talk to us, please, you're welcome to call at 646
595-3275.
And if you call us, we'd love to talk to you. Marc, I heard you got a
little bit about Memorial Day. First of all, if you read our blurb, if you ask people today, especially young people, many young people will say that Memorial Day is a day of no school, the beginning of summer. People flock to the beaches, weather permitting, days for barbecues. There are very few who really say, and there are parades, yes, but very few really say it's a day for honoring our soldiers who made the ultimate sacrifice so that we can enjoy the freedoms that we have. Now, Memorial Day should really not be confused with Veterans Day. Veterans Day is a day to celebrate the service of all our military veterans, okay? Those currently serving, those who are no longer serving. In fact, Veterans Day was set up after World War I, and the date was 11/11, okay, November 11th at 11 o'clock, because that was when the armistice was signed, okay, between the Axis powers and the Allies. But the actual celebration of Memorial Day began back in 1865 in Waterloo, New York. So we should be proud New Yorkers. And it actually began as Decoration Day. Some people may still remember it as Decoration Day, which changed in 1882 to Memorial Day.
I don't think there's anybody here that would remember that, Marcus. That's a little...
Well, I think 1882 is even older than you, Felix.
Exactly, so...
And then in 1968, President Lyndon Johnson signed an executive bill to make the celebration of Memorial Day an official Monday holiday, so as to give everyone a 3-day weekend or an extended weekend. So that's just a little bit of the history. Now, Felix, I understand that you have a special treat for... no treat, huh?
No treat.
Okay, in that case, I will have to go into some poetry, ladies and gentlemen. We were hoping for a special treat for you, but...
we may still get there. Let's just give it a minute.
Yeah, like we may just get on the air. Who knows?
Yeah, okay. We're okay. First thing I want to do is in tribute to
you could
Veterans
say,
Day. Excuse me.
Since I was about ready to read my poetry.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Well, all right. Well, got to be aware of this stuff, Felix.
You're right. You're absolutely right. We do have to be aware of it. And I apologize, Mr. Marc. I apologize, Doc.
And forget about it. We're not...
Anyway,
I don't know.
First thing you want to do is, this is...
well, we should tell them the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to laugh because if we move in the slightest direction, we get totally wiped out as far as the stuff that we have recorded for you. So we have to be very, very careful.
You're right. Okay, here we go.
NBS.
And now, we would like to salute all the men and women who have served in every branch of our armed forces. As the orchestra and chorus perform the Armed Forces Medley, we invite those of you in the audience who have served or who are currently serving to please stand and join in as your song is presented. United States Coast Guard. United States Air Force. United States Navy.
Houston soldiers. Is that Maine? Oh.
United States Marines. United States Army.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that.
I have to tell you, Felix, when I hear that, I just get blown away. It's so patriotic.
Yes, it is, Marc. Yes, it is. Very patriotic.
Well, okay, folks. I hope, as you listened to Gary Sinise at the beginning, when you heard, if you did serve, if you heard your branch of the armed forces, you stood up and were able to have everyone take notice. Felix's son and my son have a friend who went to West Point and served in Afghanistan. Okay, Mike came home safely. Now he's back in civilian life with his wife and son, and we wish him all the best. I did a little research online. I found some poems dealing with veterans, not specifically Memorial Day per se, but of course they can all be connected to it. The first one is like one of the first poems written about Memorial Day. It was written by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae, who was a Canadian physician serving in France during World War I, and it was written in honor of the Second Battle of Ypres in 1915. And I think most of us are familiar with the poem In Flanders Field. It seems that this is always one of the first poems and one of the most popular poems to be quoted when we discuss veterans and Memorial Day. In Flanders Field, the poppies blow beneath the crosses, row on row, that mark our place. And in the sky, the lark, still bravely singing, fly scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived. We felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Field. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you, from failing hands, we throw the torch. Be yours to hold high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Field. Obviously, when a soldier dies, he hopes that his comrades in arms will continue the battle until the enemy is defeated. And what McCrae is trying to say is that if you don't continue when I say he, we're obviously talking about the soldier who was cut down in battle. What he started, it seems like his death would have been in vain.
You know, I want to tell you something. Some of the veterans were forgotten are the Vietnam veterans, and they were never really recognized for years. You know, as if they were blamed for the war, which was very unpopular. People don't remember that they were drafted. It wasn't their choice to go to the war, and definitely they weren't volunteering.
Well, I think we should clarify. Many were drafted, okay, and many volunteered. I mean, you're talking about the average age of a GI, of a grunt, in Vietnam was 19, okay? Most of them were high school grads, very little college, if any, or none, okay, or college dropouts who decided. I had a friend who went to high school with me in Brooklyn Tech, and he felt that college was like a country club. It didn't really mean anything to him. So he went away to join the Army, went away to OCS, and he became one of the youngest lieutenants in Vietnam. He separated from the service as a captain, and then he completed his education afterwards under the GI Bill. And then there was a guy that used to play football with my cousins and myself, who graduated Brooklyn College with my cousin, and Alan was drafted, and he unfortunately stepped on a landmine in Vietnam and was blown apart. You know, the soldiers always say, well, it's not going to happen to me, but you just never know.
No, but my whole point was they were never really appreciated, the veterans of the Vietnam War. There were always protests against the soldiers when they came home, and nobody really, a lot of the people in the United States were blaming, as if they were blaming them for the war.
Well, if there's one thing that people learned from the Vietnam experience was that you could hate the war, but you don't hate the soldiers who go and fight.
Exactly.
You know, that's one thing that was learned. I think the forgotten war was Korea. It's only just a few years ago that Korea got its memorial in Washington.
Well, they could say that was a police action.
Well, tell that to the people who died.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, listen, for a long time, Vietnam was not considered a war either. Okay? But if there's one thing that people have learned now is that, you know, you could be against the war in Iraq or the war in Afghanistan. Most people are not against the war on terror, although they will tell you that they have their own views as to how it should be fought. But they certainly do not hold the soldiers accountable. You know, I just read in the paper that Dick Cheney wants to have Hillary Clinton held responsible for Benghazi. My response to that is, can we hold Dick Cheney responsible for the thousands of lives that were lost in Iraq and Afghanistan? I mean, he still to this day says it was an honorable war and we had every right to go in there. Yet when you think back to Dick Cheney's military service, Dick Cheney got 5 deferments from Vietnam. Now, granted, in later life he had a bad heart. I don't know how his heart was when he was a younger man. But he managed to secure deferments, okay, and not serve. Yet he was very quick to send American boys and women to go fight in the Middle East.
Well, that's part of life, I guess.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Well,
I do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and I will obey the orders
of the President of the United States
and the orders of the officers appointed over me,
according to the regulations
and the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
So help me God.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Let's go! assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Okay. I was a little surprised for Mark. I don't think he expected that.
No, I didn't know that you had found that and downloaded it.
What do you mean, downloader? We put that together. Me and you, we worked so hard.
Well, I'll give you the credit for that, Felix. Since you caught me by surprise, how can I honestly say that I knew that you had that recorded? But it certainly expresses how we're all feeling today. You heard men and women being sworn into the armed forces as Felix and I were into the National Guard. I would say that when we went in, it was the easy way out because we saw no active service. But you can't say that about the Middle East conflict in Iraq and Afghanistan. Even the National Guard, who primarily is supposed to be called up and keep peace in the streets of our cities in case there's a problem or a disaster,
or if the country is invaded by Canada or Mexico.
Received training and went over to the Middle East for multiple deployments, okay? And these were truly weekend warriors, okay? They were not as well trained as the regular army.
The other thing I was going to say is now some of the National Guardsmen are full-time National Guardsmen. They're not all weekend warriors anymore, which I didn't know. You could join the National Guardsmen as a full-time, like you do the Army.
Okay, and then there are those who were regular Army who went into the reserves in the National Guard to finish out because they wanted to do their 20 years. What's the problem?
You moved the microphone again a little bit.
Actually, I didn't touch it. I'll have to move it closer to me because otherwise my voice is very low. But I have another poem here for Memorial Day. Okay, I'll try to intersperse some of these as we go along. You'll just have to bear with me. This one printed so small, I really can't read it that well. For all the free people that still protest, you're welcome. We protect you, and you are protected by the best. Your voice is strong and loud, but who will fight for you? No one standing in your crowd. We are your fathers, your brothers, your sons, wearing the boots and carrying the guns. We are the ones that leave all we own to make sure your future is carved in stone. We are the ones who fight and die. We might not be able to save the world, but at least we'll try. We walked in the paths to where we are at, and we want no choice other than that. So when you rally groups to complain, take to look in the back of your brain. In order for that flag you have to fly, wars must be fought and young men must die. We came here to fight for the ones we hold dear. If that's not respected, we would rather stay here. So please stop yelling and put down your signs and pray for those behind enemy lines. When the conflict is over and all is well, be thankful that we chose to go through hell. Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, it's the soldier who fights to give you freedom of speech, who allows you the right of the First Amendment. I found that online, and I just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you, Mark. That was very meaningful. And as always, you always come up with something that's of value to everybody.
Well, I still have a few more, but we'll see if anybody calls up. I could always save it for the end.
Once again, our phone number is 646-592.
No.
595-3275. Or I just opened up the chat room also, if you want to join the chat room. And I got something else I want to play for you guys for today in tribute of Memorial Day. It's an interesting song. It's called the Warrior Song. Hope you enjoy it. All right, that song is called The Warrior, and I hope you enjoyed it. We're still waiting for somebody to call. Our phone number is 646-595-3275. And I'm going to play one more Memorial Day song, and that'll be the end of our music for the night. Let's see what we got here. I think I have one more. What do we got here? Okay, here we go. It's a short song. It's Memorial Veterans Concert. Yes. National Memorial Concert.
Is Jessica Sanchez with a prayer for all those who have died for our nation.
That was Jessica Sanchez. I hope you enjoyed that. All right, we're going to try to make a phone call now and see if we can get a hold of one of our listeners. You never know. We may get lucky. Right, Marc?
You never know.
Okay, it's ringing.
One ringy dingy. Two ringy dingy.
It sounds like he's. It sounds like he might be on another line. Okay, we'll leave him alone.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Okay, no answer.
Good answer. Good answer.
Good answer, no answer.
Exactly.
Exactly. Now, hopefully he'll call back. If not, the show will just be shorter tonight.
I think our listening audience is sort of used to that already, Felix.
Yeah, that's true. If we don't get callers, we stick to what we have.
Well, it's like I've said before, you know, if people don't call up to share their views or discuss whatever the topic is, It's just you and me spinning our wheels, and
well,
after a while, you can only repeat the same thing so many times.
Well, we shouldn't be repeating anything. We're supposed to be here, and we're supposed to be prepared to do a show.
But you see, we are prepared. Okay, it's just a matter of we have so much done in preparation, and then we hope that somebody will call so that they will help carry the ball, and we feed off what they have to say and keep the conversation going.
Yeah, our show really should not be more than 30 to 45 minutes unless we get a caller because...
well, we're already close to that 45 minutes. It's got to be about 35 minutes already that we're on the air.
Yeah, I believe we're on about 35 minutes. Anyway, what else did I want to talk about today?
Well, I'd like to know if anybody went to any of the parades. Every small town across the country has a Memorial Day parade. Kids love parades. When my father was in the service during World War II, he used to love to march in the parades. And I highly recommend to any of our listening audience who live in the New York area that if you can get up to West Point, West Point generally has parades on weekends. Not every weekend, but for the most part. I know if you call up in advance, they'll let you know. And it's really something to see the cadets marching in unison. And if you happen to live in the Maryland area near Annapolis, I highly recommend that you go to the Naval Academy.
One of the things I was going to say, and if you look at the pictures that I have, the slideshow that I have attached while you listen to the show, you'll see different pictures of the Memorial Day. And then you see one about that says Memorial Day sale. And I just don't like the idea how a holiday like this is commercialized and has become a big shopping day.
Well, somebody had asked that question about the 9/11 memorial that just opened last week. They said, should refreshments be served and should there be a gift shop? Now, I said definitely not. I think it should be a time for reflection and remembrance. But somebody brought out a good point today. They said, look, the gift shop is really nowhere near any of the exhibits, okay? In the museum at Yad Vashem in Israel, there's a gift shop. The Statue of Liberty has a gift shop. Okay, every place has a gift shop in order to generate funds. And one of the things they said was the government underfunded the 9/11 memorial. So they fell some $60 million short. And the only way that they can recoup some of the money or pay it back is by having a gift shop and charging $24 a ticket. So I could almost understand that. Obviously, you can't carry your coffee with you as you go through the museum. So, and you certainly can't eat any food. But to see all the exhibits and spend as much time as possible, you're going to be hungry. So if that's the case, why spend your money outside where nothing goes to the museum itself? You might as well spend it inside and have all that money go towards defraying the expenditure of the $60 million.
That's true, but again, that has nothing to do with my point. Is with Memorial Day sales and all that. That's just
Well, why not? It's capitalism. It's the American way.
This should be a day of of mourning, and not get 30% off extra because our veterans died.
Well, I don't know. Tell it to the people who went to the beach or are having a barbecue. Okay, I mean, those are things that also are usually done during, Memorial Day.
Sure, it's a big
4th of July.
Yes.
Fireworks. You could remember. You don't have to be somber.
Mm-hmm. No, I guess not. I don't know. You're probably right. Maybe I'm taking it a little bit too hard. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if we don't hear from you, we're going to have to cut the show short. It's 646-595-3275.
Well, I guess this is as good a time as any to read another poem. Sort of give you a voice of rest there, Felix.
Oh, yeah.
This is Unless You've Been a Soldier by Clive Sanders. Unless you've been a soldier, you just won't understand the things that we have seen and done in service to our land. We've trained to live in combat, cope with awful sights that shouldn't be seen by anyone, and keep you awake at nights. We don't discuss the wounds we have to body or to mind. We just put our hurts behind us and turn our memories to blind. We are proud we served our country and remember those we lost. For freedom that you have today, they paid the awful cost. Now, you've heard it all before, ladies and gentlemen. Freedom comes at a heavy price. Freedom is not free. Okay, anybody who thinks freedom is free, take a trip down to Arlington National Cemetery, or if you live on Long Island, go out to just past Pine Lawn to the Memorial Cemetery, where veterans are laid to rest from the Long Island, New York area. Okay, it's very touching. Take a look at some of the people who were there sharing their thoughts with loved ones who have been killed in action. Tell that to the young widow who has no children and who is hugging the tombstone of her young husband who gave his life. Or tell that to the little boy who's saluting his father who he can't even remember. All right? It's quite touching.
Oh, this is
Felix seems to be scrolling here, folks.
Yeah.
I think he's looking for another prayer.
Yeah, we're going to do a little military prayer, a military families prayer. Bless us as we wait, as we move, as we endure. Our service and spirit supports our loved ones far away. War has called them to serve and us to wait. In our waiting, we serve too, with strong hearts. We are the families of those who defend America. Our shared sacrifices are for our country too. We smile to keep spirit of our troops strong. At home, we handle things and hold hope's flame high. Our families do not complain, we serve, dedicated to America's freedom and liberty. We are the keepers of the Valley Forge legacy. We are the families of American military. Bless us as we bless this country with our lives. Protect our troops and protect our loved ones from harm. Bless them and bring them home safe.
Well, obviously that prayer originates from the Civil War, as you could tell, the mention of Valley Forge, the Revolutionary War, actually. The Revolutionary War. I stand corrected. If you listen to the National Day of Remembrance from the West Lawn at Washington, D.C., you would hear many things said about the families left behind who support our veterans, okay, who long for them to return home safely, who keep the home front, keep order in the home front between home and children and work. Okay, because they also serve in their own way.
I've got another nice little prayer. It's called Prayer from a Warrior's Child. Bless this day and parents I love. One is serving the military far from home, guarding my safety and the safety of our country. Keep them safe and strong as they do their duty. May they know how proud I am of their service. I love and miss our warrior who is far away today. Bless us all with a happy homecoming. And that's a child's prayer for his parents or for his father and mother to come back home safely from the service.
That's true. Especially in this day and age, there are many women that are overseas right now. It's not just the husbands or the sons who are overseas in Afghanistan right now. You had many mothers and daughters serving as well.
It's true. Anyway, guess we're not getting phone calls, and I am going to try and call one more time that we called before, and maybe they'll be ready now. If not, we're going to probably cut this show off and out tonight.
Well, you know what's going to happen, Felix. We're going to say we're ready to cut the show, and sure enough, phone's going to ring.
Well, that's what usually happens. But I think our normal callers are involved in some
other things.
Today. Okay. I guess.
Well, I'm going to read one last poem. Felix is going to look for one more song, and we'll probably wind up closing it out, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize for the lack of participation from some of our viewers, our listeners, actually. Here is one last poem, a tribute to the American soldier. It is the soldier, and not the reporter, who has given us freedom of the press. It is the soldier, and not the poet, who has given us freedom of speech. It is the soldier, and not the campus organizer, who has given us the freedom to demonstrate. It is the soldier who salutes the flag, who serves beneath the flag, and whose coffin is often draped by the flag, who allows the protester to burn the flag. It's the soldier who gives of himself so we have the freedoms that we enjoy today. Felix?
Yeah, I think we're going to just do one more prayer, and it's called the Warrior's Prayer. May I do what is needed with courage and skill. Be a loyal ally to my fellow soldiers and my country. Bless me this day and keep me safe from harm. Diminish my fears. Grow my courage. Heal my spirit. Bless me as I do my duty today, the best I can. Strengthen me in mind, body, and spirit. Help me to respect my adversity as a fellow human being. Bless and protect me this day in all I must do. That's just another prayer for a soldier who's serving our country. And with that, I am going to play a... well, this is just an Army's band playing some jazz, and we're going to, believe, curtail our song or our night. What do you think, Mark? Anything else? Any parting moments?
No. I think whatever had to be said was said. Just, I would urge everyone that before they go to bed tonight, just say a prayer for a soldier far away from home.
You know what? Instead of that, we're going to cut it off with taps instead. All right? Now, you gentlemen, have a good night. And ladies, and hope
God bless our military.
Yes, and God bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're not quite finished just yet. You just heard a beautiful rendition of a bugler playing taps. I just wanted to bring you up to date as to the history behind the song. The song originated during the Civil War. A young man went down from the north, went down south to study music, and he was somehow swept up in this war between the north and the south. His family was up north. His father was a physician for the north, and his father was out in the field risking his life to tend to the wounded, both Confederate and Union soldiers. He came upon a young man who, in his pocket, had written the words to taps. But it was dark, and the doctor could not see who this young man was, and he asked that the young man be brought to the northern side, and he would tend his wounds, if possible, when it got lighter. Dawn broke. The doctor realized that the Confederate soldier who he brought back with him was his own son, his son who went down south to study music. He had asked his commanding general if the boy could have a military burial, and the general said no, because he was an enemy combatant. So the doctor begged for one piece, one instrument, to which the general said, okay, you could have a bugle. And thus the song Taps came to be. Music was put to the words, and it's a tragic, ironic story, but very true. I'm sorry I didn't say this before the playing of Taps because it was such a beautiful rendition, but I just thought that you should know this. Okay, with that, as I said to you before you go to bed tonight, say a prayer for a soldier far away from home, and pray for all of our troops. God bless you, God bless the soldiers, and God bless America.
Oh, yes, God bless everyone.